Welcome to Charlotte Area Fund's credit panel. I'm your host, Candace, and I am a marketing consultant here working with Charlotte Area Fund. I'm excited to be here with you all today. This is a very important topic, especially for the people within our community. So thank you so much for being here with us. Let's kick things off with Deborah. Deborah, could you share a little bit more about yourself and as well as more about the Charlotte Area Fund?
Yes, I'd be delighted to. Good afternoon. I am Deborah Frank with Charlotte Area Fund. I'm the Financial Education Coordinator. And so I've had the opportunity to work with each one of these individuals on our panelists today. And I know they have plenty of knowledge to share with you all today. Just a little about Charlotte Area Fund. Again, I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to schedule this participation with the credit panel today. And I want to share just some highlights about Charlotte Area Fund. Charlotte Area Fund was established in August 29, 1963 for the general welfare of people in Charlotte, North Carolina, for educational and charitable purpose such as in these areas. So since this time, Charlotte Area Fund has had opportunity to touch a lot of lives in Mecklenburg County, and that's the clientele that we serve as Mecklenburg County. Believe it or not, the food bank, Second Harvest Food Bank, was birthed from Charlotte Area Fund. Legal aid was birthed from Charlotte Area Fund. So we've had an opportunity to not only start agencies, but continue to adjust when the need in Mecklenburg County, when there's a need in Mecklenburg County. So at this time, what we're doing is providing training and assisting our clients in becoming self-sufficient. And money management or financial education is a part of our curriculum because the clients, once they've obtained the certificates and they get the jobs, now we need to know how to manage our money, and not only manage our money, rebuild our credit. So that is what we're about: rebuilding, encouraging, motivating individuals to be all that they can be and become self-sufficient. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, I love it. Okay, so we can go down the list. Tina, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your company or organization?
Yes. Good morning. My name is tina.webb-bouttry. I am the mortgage loan officer with Self-Help Credit Union. So we have merged with First Legacy, which is an African-American credit union. So now we're in Gastonia as well as in Rowan County, Salisbury, there. So just to tell you guys a little bit about Self-Help, because some people may not know about us, but we've been established since 1980. We began doing home loans in 1985, and our mission is to create, protect ownership and economic opportunity for all, especially for people of color, women, rural residents, and low-wealth families and communities. So we really believe in the generational wealth, beginning with getting financially stable, and then home ownership, and making sure that you're able to maintain your home after you have achieved home ownership.
Awesome. Thank you. Tonia, do you want to go next?
Yeah. So I am Tonia Frazier. I am a financial program specialist, financial counselor, and also manage the City of Charlotte's Financial Navigator program that assists residents in the City of Charlotte who've been affected financially by COVID. We actually sort of triage financial resources for those residents. I have been with Commonwealth Charlotte for 2.5 years, and I'm also a certified financial social worker, and spent 20 years in banking prior to joining Commonwealth Charlotte. So I had a chance to combine the best of both worlds in my career, in my second career now. And Commonwealth Charlotte is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to assist clients in becoming more financially capable, and we do that utilizing a trauma-informed approach.
Awesome. And we have Rodney from Family Wealth Inc.
Yes, good afternoon, Candace, and thank you, Miss Fink, for inviting me. Yes, I'm Rodney Archer. I'm CEO of Family Wealth Incorporated, as well as Family Wealth Group. And we are a financial education and empowerment company in the sense that we help people, families, businesses, basically generate lifetime and legacy wealth. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right, so let's just jump right into the question. So the first question is, what is the credit score range and how can I order my credit score? Tonia, did you want to answer that question for us? Or anyone can jump in and answer this question. I think it's an important foundational question.
Yes. So to bluntly answer the question, the range is at 300 up to 850 is the credit score range. And the second part of the question was, how do I access my credit reports?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so individuals can access their credit reports by going on to annualcreditreports.com. And prior to the pandemic, individuals were provided and allowed to receive a free credit report every 12 months. Now, because of COVID, all three of the credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, are offering free weekly credit reports to individuals. Yeah, and it's actually through November of this year.
Oh, I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure.
Okay, so what are some things that people can do to improve their credit score?
I think one of the first things they can do to improve their credit score is know what the credit score is. Because when we're speaking with a lot of individuals in diverse communities, for the most part, they don't check the credit. So knowledge is power, knowing where it is the best idea how to improve their credit. And then after you have access to your credit, then I would suggest they would work with someone who can assist them with it, instead of just paying off individuals or, starting with debts that could possibly be falling off or paying things that are not theirs, understanding the difference of what needs to be paid, what doesn't need to be paid, as well as knowing how to dispute things properly for no cost to themselves. Because a lot of individuals do spend a lot of money with entities that help with disputing things that sometimes they could have done themselves. Sometimes they need that extra help, but then sometimes it's just a click of the button on annualcreditreport.com to initiate a dispute.
Thank you for that. I really love that point about, just not being in the dark about where you stand with your credit score, because knowledge is power. So how does, speaking of disputes and charge-offs, how does a charge-off or a collection amount affect your credit score?
So the charge off of the collection account for the most part is the most detrimental to a credit score. So you have your charge off, you have your collection account where you charge off, it goes to collection account, and then, or you can have the bankruptcies or the foreclosures or the repossessions. All those types of reportings drastically negatively affect someone's credit score, but it doesn't mean they can't bring their scores back up. And a lot of times, the replicated, duplicated reportings, so it may be showing as a charge off, but then it's showing as a collection with another entity. And it just looks like a person just have a huge array of bad credit, but sometimes it's the same credit that buy and sell or sell back to different collection agencies. So once again, it goes back to viewing your credit report so you know what's there, you know what's yours, and getting things that are not yours off. But they are very all of those five things that I mentioned does typically lower your credit score more than anything else we do.
Mm. Oh, that's a good point, that it lowers your credit score more than anything. You said more than anything else?
I'm sorry, my phone's in the background.
Oh, okay.
So,
I wasn't sure. Yep.
a 30-day that wouldn't affect your credit as drastically as a charge. So you have a 30-day, 60-day, when you start hitting 90 days and above, and that's what they consider your debt. So that affects your score in addition to the previous negative report. So, person can bounce back a lot quicker from missing a payment than missing a multitude. And
Okay.
charge-offs are set up because you missed a multitude. And a lot of times that comes from being not comfortable with contacting the creditor and saying, hey, I'm having a hard time. Especially during COVID, they had a lot of programs in place for derogatory credit from reporting and credit report. But if you've gone through a cycle of being inappropriately spoken to by a creditor because you're unable to make a debt, you should never talk. Sometimes you try to demean, and that's not a way to get someone to do a deal. But it doesn't impact that person's self-esteem because they're already going through. So a lot of times, I think they just pick up the phone. Sometimes things can be resolved where they can prevent getting to the next stage of charge-off in court.
Okay.
And I'll just piggyback too on what Tina was saying. Those are some very good points that she was making. I would also say that it's important to encourage and challenge individuals to contact those creditors, because many times we try to avoid and not answer the phone and things like that. So it's important to be proactive and contact your creditors, let them know what your current situation is, and see if there's any alternate payment arrangements that you can make if you're financially able to do that, that you can settle that debt, or make payments towards paying that collection or that delinquent debt off, and which can help to recover your preserve your credit score. The other thing too is once you've gotten those things cleared off, to piggyback again on what Tina said earlier, to respond to how to improve your credit score, many times folks are added on to someone else's credit card or someone else's credit account as an authorized user. But then, with that, you have to be careful because the person that you're getting added onto, you have to make sure that they have a decent credit score, so that it can be advantageous to you, because whatever that person's payment history is reflects on your credit report as well.
Oh.
During COVID, a lot of individuals that I spoke with who did dispute for accounts, they actually dispute with the option to delete, and some of the creditors actually delete the bad credit off of the credit. Wow. If they pay the settlement amount. So close them out, they can get through. It's nothing wrong. Hey, can I pay this and you delete it from my credit? And I've had quite a few who are able to move forward with their process with me because they got some things disputed and removed from their credit.
Mm.
A lot of people don't even know they can do that, but you can. It's up to the creditor saying.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely a great point. And it kind of ties back to what you were saying about not running away from the creditors and and just being, not being in the dark about where you are, and then just being responsive to them if they do reach out. I know we just jumped right into what the range of the credit score was, but some people might be wondering, why is it important to even have a good credit score? What does having a good credit score, allow you to do?
I always tell my clients that, your credit score is your life's report card, particularly as it relates to much of your financial world, because most folks don't know that your credit score ties into your insurance, your car insurance premiums as well. Many employers will do a background check, which may include your credit score, particularly if you're going to work for a banking institution, and they look at your credit score and you have some fraudulent things on there, or if something, kind of raises a red flag. So those, preserving your credit and becoming a credit worthy borrower or credit worthy individual has a big impact on what you have access to in your financial life.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of that, if y'all can hear me okay. So we are typically work with corporate America, if you will, and individuals that, once you have your credit, above 700 plus, basically we show people how to really leverage that credit in the space of investments. And so the idea of OPM, other people money, using the bank's money, if you will. So we show people how to leverage basically home equity lines of credit, personal and business lines of credit, to make worthwhile investments so that it can create additional passive income streams, so that regardless of the economic conditions of our day, whether working or not, there's always monies, coming in to help, make life, that much easier. And so we're doing this across the board, showing people for the first time really how, that's even more important than, getting the car, the house, things like that, is making sure that investments are in play so that, again, can be better prepared for a rainy day and again, make life easier along the way.
Thank you. So I know you just mentioned, oh, wait.
I kind of have a difference of opinion, not a difference of opinion, but I have a different train of thought in regard to setting yourself up for wealth or financial wealth. Because I totally agree with what you just said, Rodney, but a lot of times we see individuals who haven't had a checking or savings accounts. So when we're dealing with those individuals, the last conversation we have is about investments, because first they need to invest in themselves. They need to know how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook, how to save, how to pay their bills on time, and knowing how things such as rent and public utilities affects their credit worthiness just as much as if they're paying a credit card or a car or something else on time, not living off of student loans because we're going to pay it back voluntarily or involuntarily. So he would be a person that once my persons have moved forward, that he would be ideal for. But my average person, they come in so not ready just for that. And with rent going up so high, I encourage all of them to buy something. And I really don't encourage them to rent homes because you're paying a water bill and lawn maintenance for someone else's property when you could get yourself in a place to pay for yourself. And I do believe in investments. I totally agree with him 100%. But for our people, for my individuals that I work with, I kind of veer away from the credit score conversation to a certain extent because they always have that fear of that score and everyone wants to be the 700 person to begin to live, and that's not all the time true. You can start your success at a 580 or a 620, and then when you get to the 700, hey, family wealth is where you need to go so you can start working on your investment. So it's just like an onion, peeling out the layers so you can get to that beautiful bloom on the inside, which I love about that. And then they move forward in life. But I don't typically see individuals who are ready for 700. I wish I did, but see that, and I take them when they're ready to move forward, and I do the best with them.
Yeah.
And I agree with Tina too. I was gonna say, I think it's first important because it's important to first understand how did you learn about money? where did you learn that from? And what did you learn? Because many times we carry things from childhood into adulthood, and we don't recognize that these are, maybe self-sabotaging habits that we have developed over the years. And so now, just as Tina said, it's important to have that financial education. You can know how to build a bridge, but until you actually build a bridge, people starve. So it's important to know and to be educated on how money works, how finances work, including credit, so that you can finally and provide individuals with the tools that they need to empower them to change their financial circumstances, because then their financial behaviors have changed.
That's a great point.
Yeah, allow me to kind of piggyback. So certainly agree with that. And I guess, to even back up and go back to all, to the basics in regards to just, integrity and character, right? And so when we talk about credit, of course, that's a score, but, really it comes back to credibility. And so the idea of, saying a thing and doing a thing and being known for what you say and do. And that goes a long way in the sense of credibility. So you don't always need scores at all. Just being a person of character, integrity, basically brings favor. I had a client who basically was a tenant of a realtor who owned a property, and she basically took care of the landlord's autistic son, and so had favor. And so her and her husband, they wanted to own property. They didn't have the credit scores. However, again, the landlord owned the property. And so it was just a matter of them asking to be owners. And so guess what? The landlord flipped the script, made their payments apply towards basically them owning the property. And today, not only did they own the property, but then they sold the property, bought a bigger property, and have been moving ever since. And so credibility goes a long way, even if you don't have credit. And so it comes down to just integrity and character, saying a thing, doing a thing, and just being about, a regular discipline.
Yes, these were all great points. I love the point that someone mentioned about just going back to getting educated financially and going back to, your childhood habits with money, because if you don't address those, then like you said, you can be taking those into your adulthood and maybe not making the best sound financial choices. And then like Tina mentioned, if you haven't been making the best choices, not feeling shameful, but just knowing that you can, get out of this place. There is help for you. You don't always have to stay there forever. You can evolve and move to the 700 plus club. So since we were talking about 700, how does somebody grow their credit score if they are, at the 500s or, even lower than that? Like, how are they able to, what are some steps they can take to improve their credit score?
Okay, Candace, I'll jump in. So in regards to, there's what are called, authorized users. And again, everything's based on credibility. So if you have family members or friends that know that you're trying to get back on your feet, there's people out here that have 800 plus scores, right? And they have immaculate credit, and they have carried, different, Visa and MasterCard accounts, which are most favorable versus just retail cards, and they'll lend you their history, which means that they'll pretty much add you on to their account. And so now basically their history, that $30,000 limit and that $2,000 balance for a card that they've had for 5 or 10 years now shows up on your credit report, which helps to boost your score, especially if, any negative items have already been, pretty much removed. In addition to that, consolidating. So if you have, credit cards that are above what they call the utilization ratio of 50%, then, you know, it's best to, sometimes you can reroute, you know, some of those balances to, you know, another card so that you can get the utilization ratio under 30%. That helps to boost the score as well. So those are at least two things that can be done, you know, to assist in moving that score upward.
So I think that the conversations I like to have with individuals in regard to credit is dependent upon what financial move they want to make at the time. So if someone is interested in purchasing a home, lenders don't necessarily consider, and it's up to the lender, so everyone has their own overlays. They may not consider those authorized user accounts. And then if that, you know, once again, it may not help them in regard to being considered as a favorable payment account, but it may be looked at as a debt to income. So I think it's good to do authorized users. I just don't think it's good for people to use it a lot. And I also, and I've seen it, I think it's just, so when I did car loans, I suggested people do things one way. And then when I started doing mortgages, I suggest for individuals to do it another way. Because when you're purchasing a car, they're looking at your score versus your history. And when you're purchasing a home, they're looking at your history. So I always say one thing that everyone should do is, when we're riding, keep your utilization down. You know, don't close out accounts sporadically. Don't live off of credit cards. If you know you want to purchase a large ticket item, do your best not to purchase another large ticket item just before you want to make that purchase. So in the mortgage arena, we see where a lot of individuals purchase vehicles in their home. That typically can push them back unless they have a good sufficient income stream, because your score is going to drop because you just added this $30,000 bill that you haven't made a payment on. So there goes your credit score. And now your debt to income goes up because now you have a $900, and I've seen $900 car payments. And so I think a lot of times I always like to get in front of individuals before they start doing things like that. And just say, purchase your home and let your vehicle be your dessert, your cherry on the top. You know, you may not can get the $50,000 car, but you're living in a $200,000 house instead of your mortgage being paid on a $50,000 car. So it all depends on, you know, back to what Rodney said about credibility and making good life choices. So it's always really, really important to get in front of people before they start making those choices. A lot of times they come to us after they're made. So we have to just figure out a way to get them forward. So I think the credit conversation for me and my financial experience ever since I've been out of the military has been based upon what that person wants to accomplish. So just having them credit little, you know, like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this car and then I want to buy a house next year. Push pause. If your car's still drivable, buy your home, then get your car. But sometimes society has us a little bewildered with everyone wants to have certain statuses in life, and they all come in time, you know, and sometimes you just have to wait. So I think the credit conversation with me is very catered to the individual based upon what it is they want to achieve.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I'm gonna just say real quickly, you can have it all, but just not at the same time.
That's true. Yes. I know in our society today, everybody wants things fast, but like you said, we have to have patience, and yeah. Okay, so this is such a great conversation. The bonus round, if anyone has any final, you know, piece of advice they want to leave the audience, now is the chance. It can be one piece of, you know, a credit advice or financial advice. And then we're going to wrap things up. But if not, there were so many gems already shared. So Deborah, you.
Truly, I wanted to just say, these are some individuals that I've been working with for years, and you can see why I continue to work with them, because the knowledge that they have is so good, and it's real time. It's real time. And so because they work with individuals with Commonwealth, they have their program and their plan for their individuals. Tina is in the mortgage, so she has her plan, and for each individual. And then Mr. Archer, Family Wealth, is in the investment. So today you would really able to get a round combination of each program serving their own clientele. And so it was just a good rounded discussion. So thank y'all. Thank you for everything.
Yes, thank you.
One note drop, for anyone who sees this, call somebody. It could be me, if you want to buy a house. But call somebody, talk to somebody, not your friend, not your neighbor, unless that's what they do. Be specific in what it is you want to acquire. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and get those calls. Just put fear on the back burner and put education in the forefront. You may hear a soft no. I never tell them no. I just tell them not right now. Then I give them an action plan, and I put that action plan into a lot of my buyers have been buyers that were not able to move forward at that moment, but they were serious about purchasing homes, and they followed that action plan to a T, and they purchased homes. And anything worth having is worth fighting for and struggling for, and it's always someone here to help. You just have to reach out and explore your resources and use them for your advantage and save money always.
Yes, save money.
Always save money.
And I'm gonna dovetail Tina too by saying there's a lot of misinformation out there on social media, and it's important for individuals to find a reputable company and a reputable organization that can sit beside that person and show them step by step. Let's find out what your goals are, instead of let me see how much money I can make from you. And let's see what your goals are, and then let's walk step by step together on this journey to help you to improve your financial future.
Awesome. Well, thank you all today for being here. I will make sure to leave your contact information in the description box below. But if anyone else is looking for more information on Charlotte Area Fund, you can make sure to head over to their website, charlotteareafund.org, where you can sign up for their services and or training programs. But thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
You guys have a
Be safe.